if Corey Roper wins this, come on. Go high. Damn it. Jordan. Oh, damn it. Oh, damn. Oh. Oh, well. Come on. Oh, well. Bombardier, Canada sponsor, gets the win. Ben Rhodes wins. Roper, man, that would have been friggin' amazing if that was the finish. Damn. Damn. Well, probably the least liked, one of the least liked truck guys out there. Man, Corey Roper and Jordan Anderson almost won that. And damn, that would have been a great story. Thanks for tuning in, Kenneth. Thanks, Maddie, for tuning in. Great finish. Big hits at the end once again. The Truck Series, man, they don't disappoint. And, my pick was on Infinger, but I really thought that it was going to come down to a Thor Sport. And Canadian sponsor, man, I'll take it. Canadian Connection at least winning. Ben Rhodes is going to be in the championship for now. And, he wins it. A great finish once again. Not the cleanest again of finishes, but obviously we'll take it as it comes, man. It was definitely something. We could say that this sucks because of who it is, but man, we got the race in, and that's, I think, the most important thing. I think we were very questionable with possible rain. Corey Roper is going to be, he's had some great races before, guys, and that was great. Jordan Anderson was almost going to sneak it, and he almost got it from him too, right at the line, and really a fantastic underdog story. Anderson, Roper, Ryan Truex with the top 5 finish. So that's fantastic. Just trying to see as the results are coming up right now. I don't really want to listen to Ben Rhodes. He's got a punchable face, in my opinion. Host of our top 5, John Hunter. Cody Robark gets a top 10. Sheldon Creed finishing 6th. Smith and Dollar, Wright, Boyd smashed on that final lap. Enfinger, Gillen, Crafton, Zane Smith, 16th. Our boy Lassard, man, he's not going to like that. But Jennifer Joe gets a 17th. Jason White, top 10 last year, a 20th place after being involved in at least 2 to 3 wrecks this year. I think we would gladly take that, for our Canadian boys. That was, it was Jordan Anderson, man. It was a good finish. And I think, for us here at Fanside, obviously we want to support our guys. And to me, like I said before, I am not a Ben Rhodes fan. So if there was anybody for me to be pissed about winning, it would be him. But, you can't really state it. It was a good race. Skins, nice to see you back. Kenneth, nice to see you back. Maddie, nice to see you back. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to know, man, I'm so crushed for Corey Roper. That was he had it. And unfortunately, the real end of it was the Thor Sport trucks getting into it. And Rhodes he had the pull, and they had that Toyota power. And Roper, unfortunately, was just a sitting duck, and he couldn't hold him off. Where Jordan Anderson literally almost snuck by and would have gotten the win. But I'm so happy for the young guys. coming into this series, because obviously you don't have to go far. It is a ton of great talent. Obviously, we'll talk Haley Deegan. We'll talk some of the earlier wrecks, some of the very impressive runs for brand new organizations. Um, and at the end of the day, guys, it was as Michael, as you say, man, that is Daytona. And I don't think, after what happened with Ryan Newman last year, I don't think anybody is upset to see a finish go down like that, where at least nobody ends up on their roof. And it looks like everybody's okay after some major hits. Unfortunately, again, it does come down to calamity. One of the wrecks, I think Haley's wreck, would have been avoided if the track was blown off. And obviously, I'm not trying to be I thought that she could have saved the truck too. I think that if she could have jerked the wheel the other direction, maybe it would have helped spin the car, but it was probably just too fast and no traction with all the crap on the tires. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this race? I thought it was a great start, man. Great start to the weekend. We've got 3 more races at Daytona to go. ARCA tomorrow. Thank you, Kenneth. Actually, that's just the some of the collection. The rest of the collection is just over here, and some of it's actually in storage because I don't have enough room to put everything here. But the 164s and some 124s are in a curio cabinet to my right. I've got some die-cast on a shelf over there, die-cast as well in a little cupboard over here. Autographs in the kitchen. There's a Terry Labonte section over there. And then I got a bunch of 164s that are in storage because I don't have enough room to do it. But Graydon Bunn will be along shortly, as will Matthew Hall as a guest co-host for this episode. We're breaking down, man, this race. We're gonna start really from the beginning because there's a lot to talk about, not just the trucks that made the race, but also the trucks that did not make the race. Obviously, one of the biggest topics about the entire race was that there was going to be 10 trucks going home. A finish that I think we were all waiting for, a fantastic finish, but there were some guys who were unable to make the race, and some pretty big names. Joe Nemechek fails to make the race for the second year in a row, and that's got to be tough. The 8, I believe him and John Hunter missed it last year, and for whatever reason, they can't seem to get their qualifying package. And the same thing for Parker Kligerman. I think he missed it last year as well. Spencer Davis, tough deal. They've got a brand new sponsor on them. And kind of all the rest of the names we kind of expected would probably not. Todd Peck, Tim Bien, Clay Greenfield, Ray Cicerelli, Dawson Cram, and Jesse Iwuji, as well as, of course, everybody's favorite Norm Benning. But I do want to hear from Corey Roper and Jordan Anderson if they do interviews. So I will probably cut out to listen to Corey Roper speak, because people seem to maybe forget that Corey Roper did have some fantastic races earlier in his career. He's a much older driver, and he had that. It came down to momentum, and that's the thing, is these trucks they're getting such good runs. And when you see Ben got a little bit of a push from the 51 of Drew Dollar just before Dollar got stuffed into the fence with Chris Wright. And, at the end of the day, I can't really complain. I think this was a typical Daytona race, but it was not a complete dumpster fire, which I'm really happy about. It could have been, a complete dumpster fire. It was this last lap. And I want to say that Canadian Bombardier power brought the 99 closer and got it a win at Daytona. And I really hope that we can try to convince Bombardier to sponsor in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, because obviously there's a lot of French Canadian drivers. Bombardier is headquartered in Quebec, and I would hope that they would look at sponsoring close to home as well. I really do. I mean, the fact that they're sponsoring Ben Rhodes of all people when they could potentially sponsor a truck at CTMP and get like Andrew Ranger or Kevin Lacroix, in a truck. Here's Jordan Anderson.
Moments into perspective for Jordan Anderson as he was just watching our replays. If you look over his right shoulder, back in 1999 when he was just 8 years old, he came and he watched this race with his dad. What would you go back and tell your 8-year-old self about that last lap that just unfolded?
Never give up. Never give up. Now I got my mask up. I'm still smiling. I'm not in America. I didn't go back to Chevrolet. So you make these Silverados a little bit longer. 2 years.
No, Kenneth, Corey Roper is not actually related to Tony Roper. Completely different family. I know that was one of the questions I had right away. Is he related to Corey? But no, or is he? Gigi Patata, welcome, my friend. Hope you enjoyed the race. I just got to do the same thing, guys. I got to go turn off my heat. So let's listen to Jordan Anderson.
I'm going to go back. I know you guys gave me a hard time. Hey, Mark Smith, I'm going to probably give you too long of an interview again. I'm almost speechless. This is so much energy, so much emotion. To see what God has done in my life and my career, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be racing in a national series. Coming from Columbia, South Carolina, nobody in my family raced. My dad's here with me. To go through all that we've gone through, to never give up. You asked me earlier today, what would I say is my story? And it's for every kid that races late models, legend cars, dirt late models out there, never give up. If you want to be here, just keep digging. I've got so many people to thank. You guys would probably start playing the exit music on me, but.
All right, so we're going to welcome in our good buddy and co-host. Graydon Bunn is here, and dude, wow.
Hello.
I could tell you that I was ecstatic for the winner, but man, that hurts. I was pulling for Corey Roper. That was awesome, man. We almost got that underdog story. It seems like every time we get to it, we always miss out by one. We almost
just so close.
Almost had it last year and this is kind of what's great about it, Graydon, is that 2 years in a row we have a second and a third place driver who are complete underdogs. Jordan Anderson, 2 years in a row finishing second. Not as close as last year. It was pretty close though. And I want to punch Ben Rhodes in the face so much. I don't know what it is about it. It's a face that I just want to punch him. And then last year, Cody Rohrbaugh, and this year it's Corey Roper, who third. And Corey, man, he played it well, and I thought we were going to see a huge underdog victory. And I actually recorded my my reaction to the finish live, and I was up in my chair, man. I'm bummed.
Yeah, that could have been something pretty great. It wasn't too bad.
Wasn't a wreck, which was good.
That's kind of what I liked about it. The first and second stage were pretty tame.
Yeah.
It amped up a little bit as it wound down, for sure, as you would expect. The big wreck was bound to happen. It always does. You knew it was gonna, and it did. And Raf got roughed up pretty good there.
I was so mad. He was doing so good.
Jason White, as if he still squeaked out a top 20 after
got a 19th, buddy, a 19th place finish after being involved in like 3 wrecks. So
good job, racing Jason.
Racing Jason. We're going to start off talking about. I kind of started, but just so you're aware, bud, we have returning champions of Fanside right here. Michael Gandy is here. Skins is here. Kenneth Terry. Gigi Patata is here. Thanks, boys, for coming on board. And, of course, the super fan, Matthew Hall. Can't forget him. First one on the stream. First one to start chatting. We'll get Matthew on in a little bit. But the ones that didn't make the race, we'll start right from there. Parker Kligerman did not make this race. Spencer Davis does not make the race. laugh my ass off at Viens and Cicerelli for not making the race because that team can suck a butt. But a tough deal for those guys. I wish we could have gotten 40 trucks.
Yeah, it's there's a deep talent pool there. Lots of good trucks showed up and came to try and get a spot in the big show, and it is too bad that you couldn't see 40 of them out there because why not? But
that's what we were saying yesterday, Graydon.
Yeah.
Davis has a full-time sponsor on that truck, and it misses Daytona.
Yeah.
What I mean,
and Kligerman, Parker's a
and
fine
Joe Nemechek, man,
super speedway racer. Yeah,
they fucked it up 2 years in a row, man. They didn't make it, I think, last year either because
I don't think so.
So him and Nemechek, whatever the hell it is going on with their qualifying efforts, man, they just
they got to tighten that up. Whatever they've.
Now I think Nemechek, his started I think his effort was really late this year because I think there was a lot of because I think Pockris had put out on Twitter that they weren't going. Nemco was not going to field the truck, and then all of a sudden it was an
11th hour type
deal.
deal.
Exactly. Clayton Greenfield didn't even get to turn a lap. That Jeff Hammond, that organization, and we already know that they're not going to be running a lot this year. Greenfield doesn't have the sponsorship because Rackley basically has their own team now. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that WAR, the war car, the war truck. Damn, they keep replaying the finish. I keep having to watch Corey Roper lose this race because of Ben Rhodes beating Bombardier again. Let's just say that Canada won today. We did get a win with Bombardier on the 99. So we'll take it. It is a Canadian victory of sorts. We almost had, like I said, two major upsets. But what do you think about that WAR Rackley, Willie Allen Racing 25, Timothy Peters? If they run like they did tonight, that's a championship contender.
It's for one, it's a head turning truck, very nice looking.
Very nice.
Yeah, looked like it was very well prepared for the super speedway race, and that's the kind of the two-headed beast of Daytona. I mean, you're kicking the season off there, but in no way is it any measure of what your season's going to be like. So you can look at these teams that are having good runs with great optimism, but we still don't have a true measure of how good some of these guys are going to be. So it remains to be seen. That said, Timothy Peters is a great driver. I always liked Timothy when he was with Red Horse, and just seemed like a good guy as well. So in terms of being a wheelman, though, I mean, Timothy's the guy. They went to him and brought him off the bench to come and drive a truck after 4 years or whatever it's been that he's been out of the seat. So cool to see Timothy back. Hope they do well.
I like that they went with a veteran.
Me too.
Not just a veteran driver, but just a veteran of trucks. Timothy. If people don't remember, Timothy got his start with Bobby Hamilton, and Bobby Hamilton found him, and that gives you a good sense of how good he was, because Bobby Hamilton had a good eye for talent.
Yeah.
And the late great, we should say, Bobby Hamilton. But BJ McLeod 4L in the chat. So are you a fan of Garrett Smithley? Not sure what he has to do with the truck race, but after last night, a little bit of a boneheaded move there. Listen, we go for underdogs. And I'm not going to say that we're fans of specific drivers. We have our favorites from the past, but Graydon and I mean, we've talked about it before. We're, we're fans of racing. So Michael, fist bump. It's beer 30 and join the PC. Attaboy. No beer for me tonight. Again, we'll talk about kind of the reality of the race. It was hard to drive today. Those trucks were not stable at all. A lot of swirliness, but
A lot of busy hands, that's for
a
sure.
lot of busy hands several times. And actually, that's probably what got into that's probably what got into the big wreck, was because people were just starting to bounce off of one another, and you could just see, like, people didn't care after a while that they were getting swirly. They were just gonna, if they hit somebody, they hit somebody. Haley Deegan makes her very first Truck Series start, and you know what? I'll say I was impressed that she was able not to wreck within the first lap, like we saw with Natalie Decker. One thing that she did that was very good is she didn't wreck anybody, which I think a lot of people figured she would. The other thing was that the other thing I'd say was she drove very smart, except for that last little bit, which I'm going to go out, and I know a lot of people aren't fans of her. That's cool. You don't have to be a fan of her. But I really, I really think that wreck was caused by NASCAR. They did not blow that track nearly enough. What a mess. What a mess that was. The trucks looked like they'd been through a sandstorm because they were covered in speed dry.
Yeah, they kind of forced everyone into that situation, where they're driving through and you couldn't see anything. Like, I couldn't imagine what that was like to go through. It was pretty dusty. And I think Haley did I'll say I'm not I was never a huge fan of her dad's, and I'm not a huge Haley Deegan fan, but I was impressed. You don't go out there stone cold rookie and do what she did without having some sort of wheel or prowess behind the wheel. She did a great job.
Yeah, it was smart.
Yeah.
Man. It was good.
She did run a very smart race.
It's very similar, unfortunately, to Danica Patrick, where she ended a race in that inside wall there off of 2. Not as severe, but I still think if she had turned the wheel, maybe she could have not slid all the way in there. But
maybe spun it out before she got there.
Yeah. But she probably had no choice, because they didn't really show it because they didn't have a good view because of all the dust. But she got hit. I'm not sure who it was. Maybe it was Jason. Jason was hitting everybody but the pace tonight. So, we had a good time, obviously, tonight watching the truck race. I think I thought the field was very strong. We were pretty lucky that we have this series looks strong, at least strong enough. 104 subscribers. Is that us, BJ4L? Because we weren't at 100 yesterday. That would be awesome if that was true. I wouldn't expect that would be awesome, because we were only at 77 2 days ago. So, but we're going to bring Matthew Hull onto the show here. Get another good bud of ours to talk about the race. Graydon, one thing we got to talk about overall is the quality. Did you feel the race was long? Did you feel it was good length? Did we think that the field this year did a better job than last year?
I don't know. I think I was entertained by that race. Like I said, the first couple of stages weren't barn burners, but at least I kind of expect that, especially in super speedway races. You got to play kind of conservative for the first, and that doesn't matter if there's stages there, they're dangling stage points in front of them. And hey, Raphael, nailing stage win and picking up stage points today. That was pretty awesome to see. That's a little sidebar, but yeah, I think it was a good length of a race. I like the lengths of the truck race generally. Like that's what makes them so compelling a lot of the time, is that they don't have a lot of time to dilly dally around. I mean, they do have like kind of the midsection of like any race where you're kind of putting laps in and saving your stuff. But I mean, that midsection is a lot smaller in a truck race like our Pinty's races. It's basically from the drop of the green flag, you got to think about what you're going to be doing near the end of the race right away. So, yeah, I think the truck race was great. I'm glad it wasn't a wreck fest.
Yeah.
That was what I thought was great about seeing the clash on the Roval, or the road course, which I didn't really expect myself to enjoy as much as I did. But I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that they weren't just re-racking them and sending them around the oval and wadding them up every 2 laps or so like they had. But like last year was just, it seemed like it was excessive wrecking in every
race.
It was just a gong show. So this year was kind of refreshing in that the Clash had the road course where it wasn't a wreck fest, and this race actually was fairly.
We only had one big wreck. We only had one wreck, which was nice.
And this was fairly calm. Like we're actually, I kind of tongue in cheek sort of tweeted this, that it was a stroke of genius replacing the wreck fest with a race. So it's I think that's good to see actual, even if you don't like this package, they're racing and not wrecking most of the time.
We're going to bring in Matthew Hall, who is our Fanside super fan.
What's up, Matt?
Join us in right now. He's not all the way in yet. Just got to get this camera on. And here he is. Matthew Hall is on the show.
What's
Matthew.
What's going on, man?
Not much, you?
Living the dream.
We're living. That's right, buddy.
Exactly.
All right. What'd you think, bud?
Oof, that was wild. Telling you. Those trucks they were just doing that all night.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it more fun, honestly. Like I prefer seeing some holy crap. BJ McLeod 4L says, yes, you have 104. Wow, that's great. We didn't have 104 when we started tonight. So awesome. That's great. Well, thank you, BJ McLeod 4L, because I didn't see you yesterday. So thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. If somebody again downvoted us. What the hell? What the hell's your problem? Don't you like Canadians talking about racing? Screw you.
Yeah, get out of here.
Get out of here with that negative.
Yeah.
That negative attitude. We're only about positivity here, damn it. And when we talk about positivity, how about GMS and our boy Rafael Lessard tonight, boys?
Yeah.
He did a great job. The kid shows what it's no fluke. I mean, that kid's got talent, and there's no two ways about it. He's a fast study with all different disciplines. Like you put him on a road course, a super speedway, the kid just has a very good grasp of what it takes to go fast in different ways. Whether it's with a restrictor plate, road course, whatever, the kid's up there scoring stage points and got the stage win and up there representing for us. So it was cool to see our boy up there ripping the high side too, up there like a boss.
Well,
yeah, first in stage 1 and second in stage 2 there. So
yeah,
he was right there until that last wreck.
Yeah, it wasn't a storybook ending for him, but I mean, they knew he was there today, and that's when like I said, at Daytona, it's its own animal, and there's no way a measure of what your season's going to be like. So, I mean, he came out of there, he showed that he could run well, and we'll see how things go moving into the meat and potatoes of the season. But I think him being aligned with GMS, it shows like they got pretty good pieces. So I think Rafael is going to be just fine this year.
What do you guys think about the whole team? Because they looked like they're going to be a force this whole season. Obviously, Thor Sport, they've been kind of the top dogs for a while, but we'll start with Matthew. What did you think about GMS's whole effort tonight?
They're pretty good. I'd say. I mean, they're quite young, so they still got a lot of ceiling room left. They still got a long career ahead of them. But yeah, they showed a lot of prowess tonight. I think the 23 was having a lot of some issues though with his rear end or something.
Yeah,
Early on, he was just sort of plagued him throughout the race.
Yeah. Purdy was, and we also have to remember Purdy has been away from racing for quite a while. Yeah, he did do some truck starts last year, but he also was off ARCA for quite a while because of sponsorship issues. So the fact that he was able to get a full-time ride with Bama Buggies is great. And what are you thinking about the rest of that team?
Yeah, like Matt said, they are a young team, so you maybe don't have that veteran experience to lean on, at least in the driver fold. But at the same time, you do have, like no limits to what they can learn, and they do have. I mean, their crew chief lineup and everything. The drivers do have people to lean on in the team to help develop them. I mean, that's why they're kind of paired with who they are to help grow them as drivers and that sort of thing. So I think if it were me as a team owner, I would really myself try to have a veteran presence on the team.
Right.
But I mean, and it's the youth movement. They don't command as large a pay. Like, I don't know the pay structure that well in the truck series, but I mean, the younger guys that are unproven tend to be cheaper labor. So, I mean, for the teams, that's also a very, that keeps their bottom line up there and not paying through the ass for, that's kind of the transition we're in right now, right?
Yeah.
Like we have seen a lot of the older guys that command a bigger salary getting kind of pushed out because, well, they're at the end of the day sort of replaceable for a lot cheaper. Maybe with someone unproven, but they're saving dollars.
I still think like it would be if
they
amazing.
Don't wad up every piece of equipment.
Well, that's the truth, right? That is the truth. Yeah. Why did we see Kyle Busch finally be like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm getting rid of Agus and getting rid of Lassard. I think they wrecked quite a bit last year, and he was just like, enough of this, you know?
Yes.
They just, you can't have that. And for whatever reason, back in 2004, man, trucks were the go-to for veterans. And it was such a good series, man. You had Todd Bodine, you had Ron Hornaday, Jack Sprague, Mike Skinner, Bobby Hamilton, Johnny Benson. Dude, that is a stacked series. And even now, it's like it's still that way. But basically they've got their own truck veterans now, right? Like Enfinger, he's not really going anywhere. Like, he's 36. I don't really see him moving up. You got Friesen, who's been there for years. You've got obviously Sauter and Crafton, who have been there forever, you know. And
Crafton's made his whole career as a truck
whole
driver.
Career. Yep. And Timothy
and he's
Peters
fine
now.
with that. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's been 20 years. Crafton was involved in the wreck, Michael, on the very last lap. He also had accident. He was involved in a lot. He's the one that actually drifted up the track and got into Todd Gilliland. We're actually going to talk about the finishing results here. We're going to have to take it right back to one of the most embarrassing start to a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost wonder if they watched the Rolex 24 GT class and saw that we have to wreck before we get to the start finish line, just to make sure that we're not left out of the end of the year blooper reel. But
yeah, but man, you got to feel for James Busher.
And that paint scheme,
man, no doubt.
That truck was beautiful. I loved the paint scheme on that 44.
Yeah,
that was a bummer.
Yeah,
he's been out of the sport like what, 5-6 years?
Oh, it was like longer? He won the championship. He was like gone, right?
Yeah. And then now all of a sudden comes back first lap. Doesn't even make it to the line, and boom.
I was gonna say, like, it was
what
like
was really
200 feet, and then you're frigging around.
So annoying about that was that Tanner Gray apparently said on the radio he knew he had a problem, and didn't get out of the way and went to
he was going to try and limp it to the first caution.
Yeah, and clearly it wasn't going to.
That wasn't a good idea.
No, and so he goes in there and wrecks, Gus Dean and then
Derek Krause.
Derek Kraus.
Another driver that had a rough night.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Rough night, man. Jesus.
Was
That
he
is what
4
told
wrecks? I think he was in.
Gary. Yeah, I told Darian Gilliam, like, the next, instead of bad seasons, you're doing a bad race. And that, like, Black Flags Matter is going to come out with that YouTube video for, like, horrible race. Like, I think there was one actually that Frisky Nixon, which is one of the original NASCAR YouTubers out there, did. And it was Ken Alexander and the horrible, no good race at Bristol, and it's based off of, I think it's a children's book or something. And it's
it is.
I can't remember which book it is, but Alex in the horrible bad day or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it is.
I don't know if my kids have that book upstairs anymore, but I do. We had that book in this house.
It was just like Michael Waltrip even said, "Well, I'm surprised Kraus was not involved in this wreck." I'm like, ow.
Yeah.
That's fired.
Off the top rope from Michael there.
just a sucker punch to the gonads. Like, my God. I really think that Jamie McMurray is ready for the booth full time. He was amazing tonight.
I wouldn't even mind if they booted JG out of there and put Jamie McMurray in his place. I mean, Jeff Gordon.
You can't say that to Cincinnati. That's his boy right there.
I see what's behind you there, man. And I'm not saying your boy can't drive a car, but like you said, he holds a steering wheel better than a microphone.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Maddie and I had a chat about that yesterday, but in reality, I think Michael could go. And you could just have Jamie. Like, to me, Michael's, if he's gonna stay, he's gonna stay in trucks. He can't go Xfinity. He can't go Cup. Like, that's not. No,
him. Michael should be a trucks
only
guy. Yes,
because I can take him, but in small doses. Now he's just, I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, truck race is a good Michael Waltrip length time frame.
I like Phil Parsons too. I liked him in the booth. He's going to be tomorrow with Jamie Little for ARCA, but one of the other guys, I think, Todd Bodine's pretty good in the booth, but who would be great to have back, and he did commentary. Wow, geez, I want to say way back, but Johnny Benson actually was really good in the booth. He did a couple of He did a couple truck races.
That's right, yeah.
Back in the day, and was really. He was a good talker, and I thought would do really good. Kenny Schrader used to do the ARCA broadcasts. I remember him. He was always a good time.
I love Schrader's voice too.
I don't know, something about him, man. He's just like that old timey race car driver who Schrader actually would be somebody. I believe Schrader's coming up. He was originally going to come up and run Oshweekend for us.
Yeah,
Xfinity Series with Kenny Wallace. So. Hopefully they're able to still. I'd take Schrader over Wallace any day, but hopefully they'll be able to do that. But overall, guys, the truck race was a typical, it was a typical Daytona race. Going forward, the season, obviously, we're only in race 1 of 22. We started off. Unfortunately, Buescher out of the race, didn't complete a lap. Tanner Gray didn't complete a lap. Gustine only got out there for a lap. Kraus eventually just kind of gave up.
Succumbed to his injuries.
He basically said, I've had enough. Big wreck.
Can't blame him.
Big wreck for Todd Gilliland, Stuart Friesen, our Canadian boy, and Tate Fogelman involved with that as well.
Todd showed a lot of speed tonight.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that if he just got some damn luck, he would have had a couple of wins in this series already. Like, it just seems like in this case, they're saying, like, why did he go 4 wide? I don't know if it was him going 4 wide as it was more or less people being dumb. We've talked about this before. Like, you have to be smart. And with 30 laps to go, what the hell are you doing going 4 wide? But one thing I think was very noticeable, guys, was the runs that you could get. Very, very big runs. And we saw it right to the finish.
Yeah, there was lots of it never really got. I think maybe that's also due to the race length of a truck race. They don't have a lot of time to get strung out.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see them all kind of not in in necessarily pack formation all the time, but still like you said, they're getting runs and moving around and that sort of thing, which and as like they were moving around just like arrow wise, like all the turbulence and everything too, which it like if you were really watching that type of stuff, like watching in the windshields and seeing their hands moving around, it was pretty entertaining. If you're looking for all that type of stuff, they were driving.
Maddie.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's like I said earlier. It's like they were just squirrely out there every time somebody would try and push another truck. It's just this guy would just be spinning around, and you guys, there's just so much, and all the trucks were squirrely. So you see him with these big grunts, and of course you saw that 4-wide wreck. It's like you saw Crafton just jerk up just a tiny bit and up into the 38, and around he went, and right in the middle of the traffic.
You don't have time to catch it.
No, not at all. And you know what? Stuart Friesen, I think, is done with Daytona. They said today he hasn't finished a single one that he's been at. So I'm pretty sure he's okay if he doesn't go back to do it. I'm very curious, though, guys, because next week they're going road course racing at Daytona. And we haven't seen the Truck Series do a lot of road course racing. Obviously, they do their races at CTMP, but I'm not mistaken, there's only that. Is it right?
Back to the Glen this year too.
And I think they're the Glen and what's the other one? Aren't they going?
I think they're going to Coda.
They're going to Coda as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they're gonna need to have it. Jason White was on this program. I call it a program. He was on this show a couple days ago. And he almost let out, I think, a spoiler, which was mentioning that Tagliani potentially was racing next week at Daytona. So,
well, I mean, he raced it there. What was it, back in the summer?
Year.
I guess when they ran there. They ran there last summer. So, Tag ran a 51 truck for Cubbush.
I think he might be doing the same thing. So, that's obviously something we can look forward to. Jason's going to be in the show as well. Okay, we don't know if Jason will be in the show. We have to figure out how many trucks we're going to have. But what are we thinking, guys, for next week? If we thought this shit was crazy. We'll start with Maddie.
Oh, man. Put me on the spot, though, man.
Of course. You got to get the show, buddy. You got on the spot.
Oh, man, I'm terrible at this, but okay. But, like I said, based off of, the Clash last week, that how wild that was. I mean, and the amount of energy these guys put on today, it should be another good one. Yeah,
I hope so. That would be great. The chat's gone nice and quiet today. I think everybody's exhausted. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We've had a lot smaller of a crowd today, but we got a couple likes and we've got more subscribers, so that's amazing. Graydon, what do you think? We head next week onto the road course. What are we going to anticipate?
Well, I'm a big fan of road courses. I've always been a proponent of them. Mm-hmm. It's racing in pure form. So, I mean, put the trucks on there. We've seen how the trucks like to turn left and right. They put on a pretty good show. There's a lot of youth in this field.
Yes.
That might make for a little bit of craziness. But even at the same time, the veterans in this field don't know what to make of this course, really. I mean, they haven't had all that much experience on it, really. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes for it's a fairly new venue. So that's there's a lure and kind of some craziness that you just don't know what you can get, like how hard you can push it into some of those corners, and might make for some crazy drama.
29th place, Chase Purdy was actually out of the race. I didn't know he actually ended up dropping out. Tyler Ankrum, after his hard hit in the 26.
Yeah, it was a hard hit.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of talk about Johnny Sauter in this race tonight, not working with his teammate. And apparently he was being quite the complainer on the radio.
No, I mean, that was a questionable move there at the second stage. He pushed John Hunter to the second stage win.
Yeah.
And didn't even get second place himself. Raphael got it. So,
and I can't believe Johnny Sauter was moaning on the radio. That's impossible.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that. Can you believe, guys, that Johnny Sauter has been, wow, we're up to 8 likes. Thank you guys so much. It's hard to believe, really, that we go all the way back to 2002, and that's when Johnny Sauter was a rookie in the Busch Series, and he's been still in racing despite all of his attitude and all of his whining and the way he drives. I will say that I have been a fan at times of Johnny Sauter, but this is getting a little old for me. Yes, Michael Gandy, it's not a dumb question. You ask us questions. No such thing as a dumb question. I always tell people when I'm training them at work, depending though on the subject matter. He's asking, do you guys play the NASCAR video games? Well, I can say that myself and Maddie are a long time fans of NR 2003, and that is the top game forever for me. I was a longtime fan of the EA Sports games. I do play NASCAR Heat. I'm I'm not as enthusiastic of that game as I think others are. And I know Graydon is pretty damn good at that game.
That's relative. I don't know how. I'm not a big gamer. I like Heat 5 particular. That's like the one that we're playing the most right now. We're kind of into that Wreckfest game though, which is like a whole it's so fantasy, and like you just creaming people, which is so fun. But I usually just use kind of like NASCAR Heat, and we have the Thrustmaster wheel and pedals and stuff like that, just to get some aggression out. And
that's what I'm missing, is because I got an old. I use a controller, so it's not the same feeling.
I like the actual like somewhat authentic sort of driving experience.
iRacing, I would, but I don't have the money for iRacing, man. That shit's expensive. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would, but the problem is where I live, my internet is absolutely terrible. I mean, I'm surprised I'm even be able to on this chat right now because it's just my internet's that bad.
Yeah, no, it's cool because I'm hosting, so the bandwidth is good. It's my internet that's taking the brunt. So you guys you're good. We were worried about that with Graydon when we first started doing the podcast, right? Because you don't know, guys, Graydon's out in the middle of nowhere, and I guess Matthew's kind of out in the middle of nowhere too, right?
Yeah, like I mean, like with my service, like around, was it spring last year? It was working very, very well. Like I was able to watch, 720p YouTube, no problem, and 360p Twitch, no problem. But I've just seen a steady decline here this last year. And to where the point where it's just like it's almost lowest quality Twitch is almost impossible for me. Like it's starting to go back up, but it's very hard to trust right now. So
what we're gonna have to start doing is we're gonna have to reenact the races with our diecast for you, Matt. So we'll get some of it out for you guys. Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely a big fan of the games.
And I rip around on Nascar Heat too. So like I've got a wheel here for my PC right now. Like here, I'll just tip that down. So there you go. Same wheel that you got, Graydon there.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say that looks like our setup.
Yeah, it's the T150. I've got a different set of pedals for it because the ones I came with this wheel broke on me like last year, so I had to go get a new set from Walmart. But anyways, I rip around on NASCAR Heat, and I got a 3-screen setup here on my computer. So
that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, right? If you're going to do it, go all out. But for me, it's unfortunate. It's a price gouge, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The NASCAR,
it is expensive.
The NASCAR EA games, man, they used to have all the paint schemes included. Obviously, it was a different time, but shit, man, I if I could be, I'm more of what you'd care. I'm more into the creative aspect of gaming. I like to create paint schemes. That's all I really care about. And you can't do that in the NASCAR Heat games.
Yeah.
You can't do it very well.
Unfortunately.
I hate the cheapy.
They are not great.
No, but who knows? They're supposed to be a new developer or the same developer, but
new
Yeah,
engine and everything. This
Yeah,
year.
it's supposed to be like, so it's essentially going to be a new game come,
Yeah.
this year, like sometime this year, maybe next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I hope that we're gonna see that. There's obviously the NASCAR games, like EA Sports, even back in the day, those games were great, but also their damage models were shit. So, I just want what I want is Wreckfest's damage model in the NASCAR Heat games.
Yeah.
That damage model is perfect for having accidents of various degrees. And also, I don't know what you think about that, Graydon, but I think that it's so easy to drive. Like depending on the cars, it changes depending on the track. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they got to go and get some developers like that, or at least partner up with them, because that shit would make those, like when we got the Utechnics trailer way back when for NASCAR. Oh Jesus, NASCAR Inside Line, I think maybe, or NASCAR, was that 2011? Was that Inside Line? I think it was
Something around that time, I guess.
Yeah, and the trailer had like Greg Biffle like flipping at Dover with like fantastic damage on it, and I'm like, this shit's not even in the actual game, right? Like I hate that where you like go full speed, because there's not one fucking race fan out there, and I'm being honest about this, that doesn't turn around and try to crash everybody. That's what every race fan does, okay? That buys the game. And when you go do that and all the cars just kind of bounce around and they don't have any damage, that shit's not fun, right?
You want to see the carnage.
I want to see the carnage, but also you're going to get car retirements too, right? One of the things like that really bugs me. At least when you got used to get those games in NR 2003, like you could wreck the whole field if you wanted to, and they'd actually like be out, But unfortunately, the folks at iRacing are so invested in iRacing, they could really make a fucking awesome console game using the iRacing stuff, because it's the same people that did the NR 2003, right? So it would be. Can you imagine, Maddie? Holy shit, man, that would be fucking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon here, guys. We've been chatting for a little bit. We've only got a small contingent of fans tuning in right now, so thank you guys for tuning in.
No matter how many there are, we do appreciate each and every one of you for checking us out.
And we know the big ticket is always the Cup Series. That's always the one that's going to get the most reactions. And that GG points out a good point. He has a good point here. The problem with the damage models is that you have to keep the manufacturer happy. That's kind of the problem. Is a lot of it is that they want to make certain people happy. Like the fact that what was it, Heat? I think
there's our sports politics rearing its ugly head again.
It ruins a lot of things in racing, and like you can't have. So one of the reasons why a lot of sponsors don't get interested is because they tag everything as like the official sponsor, right? So Michael Gandy, 05. So NASCAR, I guess 2005. Xbox, I've won the 500 at all extreme settings, no assist. It took me months to get through a full race. I won 8 championships. A video of Richard Petty comes on and says, "Congrats, I only play NASCAR." Jaden coming on in. Sorry I'm late. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. We appreciate it. I guess young sir, I should say. Appreciate you tuning in, bud. Again, one of the things that I'm out there, thinking about is I would love an IndyCar game. We haven't seen one. You've had a couple. I think it's that Forza that has like a mod or
Forza has IndyCars in it.
Yeah, so
it has some Penske cars from like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, and it's only like, I think it's only like 3 or 4. Like there's not.
Yeah, it's only just the Penske cars basically from a couple years ago.
So we could have honestly a live chat about that. Like honestly, the NASCAR games, to me, that's a very sensitive subject for me, because I think they've just been so lazy. They don't update anything. Like the I'm not paying $20 to update paint schemes. I'm not doing that. I would have to pay $70 for the game. Why do I have to pay for more?
Yeah, we made the rule like the boys have a little bit of their own money, and we're like, it's neat to see the new paint schemes,
Yeah.
but like you said, I'm not spending $20 to buy more paint schemes. So like if they want to see them that bad, they got to cough up $20 of their
And
own
that's
money.
why it's the problem. Right? They put the roster for Daytona,
And then they just leave that for like,
And-
a few months, and then
yeah, and I think
till
they've
the first pack comes out or whatever.
yeah, and the
Mhm.
first pack, I think they've only added this past one. I think they only added like 3 or 4 drivers to the entire thing, right? So like, I'm glad they added Vargas in the TikTok car because that's what I wanted.
Yes,
to
that was
But yeah, actually, Michael, I bought a PS2 just so I could play Chase for the Cup 2000.
I had that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2000.
I had it too.
And 2000. So
I think I probably rented it years ago.
Yeah, I think it's like everybody's like second pick. Everybody always picks NASCAR Thunder 2004 as like the best NASCAR game ever made. Obviously, to me, it's NR 2003 all the way.
Yeah,
but for
I'll
like
agree with you on that. But I grew up with NR 2002, which was the game before NR 2003. So I played like, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years with that game, and then was
Mhm.
it, I think around 2016, I think I just got done with it. So I was like, I've had enough of this. I want to go do something else.
So no update, Kenneth, on Bowman. As far as I know, he is staying on the front row, but we do know
Yeah,
that
I heard they didn't change
they
engines.
didn't change the engine, so
No, they didn't.
he is staying. Did they?
No.
No, they didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I funny story actually, Matthew, is I had the opportunity to buy NR 2002. Oh, Jesus, this is going to be so embarrassing. So I had the opportunity way back when to buy it, and what did I buy instead? Oh God. So I had the opportunity to buy NR. I think it was actually 2003, not 2002, and I was at Zellers. Everybody, if you don't know what Zellers is, it is the fucking greatest store from Canada that we lost a couple years ago.
Yeah, to Target.
Yeah, to Target, and then Target left, and we don't have any Zellers.
Yeah, like 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Target was a joke here.
That was a brain fart.
Yeah, it was a total joke.
Exactly.
So I used to get my die cast from there, everything. So they actually had the game there, and I ultimately ended up buying for GameCube the video game for the IndyCar movie Driven instead.
Wow.
Oh boy. When I tell you, that was probably the biggest piece of shit game I've ever had in my life. And then I go back, and of course, that NASCAR game is gone, and it wasn't there anymore. Completely
Bummer.
gutted. So Michael Gandy says he's going to check with us after the 500. Thank you so much for tuning in, Michael. We really appreciate it. Kenneth, of course, thank you for tuning in. Jaden, Gigi. We got 4 people hanging out. I'm pretty sure one of them is me, though. So we probably got 3 people hanging out.
No, I'm in chat there too. So
we got one person hanging out right now.
I haven't been typing, but I'm
2 people.
still in chat though.
It's cool though, guys. We got to 1.3 thousand, 1,300 people yesterday tuned into our rain delay episode, which was fucking amazing. We got over 25 likes. It was 11 new subscribers, and apparently we just got a whole bunch more, I guess, today because
nice.
we were told we had 106, and I'm like, well, Jesus, we were at 77 on Monday. So who knew we needed the NASCAR season to actually start for us to actually get some more people following us. But I actually did reach out tonight because he was on Messenger for a quick minute, but he has not responded to me, unfortunately. Jason White, we were going to get on the show. I think, did we lose? Nope, he's still there. Okay. We kind of had momentary freezing on Matthew's.
I'm here. I'm just cleaning my glasses.
Yeah, you're here. It's all good. It's all good. So we're heading to tomorrow. The ARCA Menard Series will start the day with their race, and the Xfinity Series will end the day I'm gonna ask for predictions for both. If you don't know who's in the ARCA race, that's cool. I'm gonna just put it out there that I really want to see Gracie Trotter or Brittany Zamora do very well tomorrow, but I'm gonna go with the guy who was finishing. He was finishing up front and was running up front for Kyle Busch Motorsports. I'm gonna say Drew Dollar is gonna win tomorrow. I'm gonna bet some money on Drew Dollar tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Maddie, do you have a pick for the ARCA Menards race?
I'll be honest, I haven't followed ARCA really at all, so I really have no idea who's in the field.
Perfect. There's not a lot of people that you might know. There's not. It's a very, very different field this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick for you. You're going to pick Rich Bickle of all
Okay.
people who's gonna race tomorrow. The Bickle is not in a pickle. He is racing tomorrow. Graydon.
I think young up and comers showed quite a bit. I don't follow ARCA super closely, but that Ty Gibbs kid seems like he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a big JGR fan, and it's nothing against that. Like the kid's, it's not his fault. He's a Gibbs, but he does have talent. There's no doubt about that.
Gigi Potato, thank you so much for turning out. Apparently, Jaden, yeah, we did hit 100 subs today. Don't even know how that happened, but we're thankful. It's the coolest experience that we got 100 people that want to listen to us squabble and talk about all sorts of shit. But okay, now the big one. The big event tomorrow is the Xfinity Series, and this is this is an extremely tough pick because there was a lot of people who could win tomorrow. Who do I want to start with? Because I started with Maddie last time, I'm going to start with Graydon this time.
Let's see.
Who are you going with tomorrow for the Xfinity? You can pick 1, 2, or 3 people.
I would love to see like a Josh Williams kind of as a not so long shot. Like it almost wouldn't surprise me to see them get a win. I feel like they're kind of ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to have a little bit of luck on your side always, but I mean Daytona especially. So I'll put the driver, the 92 on that list. I will put oh God, I don't know. I have Josh on the brain.
I'll let you come back to it then. If you want. We'll do our first pick first. Maddie, do you have a first pick?
Well, I'm gonna be a little bit biased here. Noah's my Xfinity guy, so I'll go with him first. Okay. And then second one, you know what? You can't really count out Cindric after his championship last year, so I'll put Cindric in there. And for a dark horse, I'm kind of leaning towards Hemrick. I don't know why. I think maybe it's just something with him in that Gibbs car.
Yeah,
you know what? And I don't want to see kind of want to see him do well. So maybe he can do something with that Gibbs car.
I like it. I'm actually going with Gragson as well. I think he's
there you go.
He's super pissed because he didn't make the 500, so he's gonna drive like a madman. This does get tough. I'm gonna say Harrison Barton as well because he does do pretty good on the plate races. And as a dark horse pick, because I'm so glad he's running full time this year, I'm gonna go with Ryan Vargas. With that beautiful looking Swan security numbers for JD Motorsports. They always tend to do really good. It was hard to pick him or Landon, but I'm going to go with Ryan Vargas.
Nice. I think I'm going to take Allgaier.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think, he kind of speaks for himself. He knows his way around the Xfinity car. He's kind of found his little niche, I think, in the NASCAR tour. He had his shot in Cup, and Albeit it was with H. Scott Motorsports, but still.
Yeah.
Um,
that's a good
he's
point.
he's at that time of his career where he more than likely probably won't get another shot at Cup, and there is no shame in making a career in one of those other series anyway. So Allgaier, and then I had someone and then I lost him. I want to see, it's more of an intrigue thing, but I kind of want to see what Ty Dillon can do in that 54.
Yes. That's a good one.
See,
He's
also probably got a chip on his shoulder from yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's kind of part of it too. I mean, he's those are like the Childers full, like the junkyard dog kind of mentality. When they get backed into a corner, they get their back up. I feel like Ty's, that he's got that in his blood. And arguably, I think Ty's better than his big brother. He just hasn't had a chance to show it, and put him in a JGR entry. And again, another sweet looking paint scheme with that Bass Pro and all that on it. So I want to see what Ty can do with that 54 car.
Do we have a tally on how many cars Bass Pro is going to sponsor this year?
Man, like, a face core to them.
Crap, man. Jesus.
Johnny Morris has some money.
He does, man. That Bass Pro is also going to be on Jamie McMurray. It's also, he's probably, I think, an associate still with with Austin.
Yep.
He's going to be with Ty, and he's going to be with Martin.
And on Gregson's car.
Yeah, Gregson in Xfinity, and then Ty in Xfinity.
Yeah, he's literally with everybody this year. So, really, it's like the Bass Pro Cup Series right now.
Yeah.
But Kenneth Terry says he thinks Gregson is going to go for it tomorrow after missing the 500. That's exactly what I said, man.
There's another motivated fellow. Yeah,
he's gonna be pissed, and he won last year, I believe, right? Wasn't he the one that
he did? Yep. Yeah, I've got the diecast.
Yeah,
I'm sitting on my dresser over there.
You're a lucky guy, you. But
ordered it as soon as he won that last year.
Yeah, and I think everybody would love to see Ty Dillon shove it to NASCAR. You know, I still feel like that was that rule's got to change. I know Phelps was on with NASCAR or Pockrass, I think it was tonight, explaining the situation. I just didn't want to even fucking listen to him because you've already made the mistake. You know, you already screwed him.
Yeah, they got to simplify that a little bit.
You can't explain a convoluted system into it being not convoluted. It's like
try.
Yeah, you can try all day long, but the more you do it, the more muddled it gets to me. Like they simplified the points tally system. Do the same for that. The fact, like, however many show up.
It's pretty simple. You got the two guys that qualified in on was it Wednesday? So they're locked in. Treat them as like the charter cars, and then you split the remaining. The highest finisher in each duel, boom, gets the other spots. Done.
There you go. Yep, pretty cut and dried, really.
You get the top. You split them like you go. Let's say there's 5. Forget about the like wherever they place type of deal, but you put one in one duel, then the other one, and split back and forth until you don't have any more cars. They race it out. Whoever,
and they're racing amongst themselves.
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be race. Like it's so fucking.
It definitely has to be looked at.
Yeah, and I would hope that they change that.
For the sake of like just growing the fandom, you're not going to grow an audience when an audience a new audience member can't even understand how they keep score, so to speak.
Well, how do they do heat races in short tracks? They don't say you have to beat the guy that qualified better than you. No.
Yeah.
It
defies logic.
Yeah, and Kenneth brings up a good point. He says, Ty should definitely be in the 500 over Derek Cope, who can't even keep pace. Yeah, absolutely. The Rick Ware, I said this yesterday, the Rick Ware cars should not be anywhere near the tracks on Sunday. Like, they shouldn't. They're so far off the pace. I'm sorry, 150-mile race and your cars are like 3 and 4 laps down on pace. It's not like they were in wrecks or anything. That was just them being on track. And that one spot where they was coming right down to the finish and Cope was barely moving on the inside on the apron.
Yeah. Nearly
Jesus.
plowed right in the back of him.
I know a lot of people were like saying like shit that could have been horrible, right?
Yeah,
If
no,
somebody-
it was David Lamb was saying that same thing on his video last night.
yeah, that's exactly it, and I hope that they really do take a look. It's late.
Re-examine.
Re-examine.
There
My man helping me out once again. That's what we do for each other here on Fanside. Yeah, we're excited, guys. Like it is going to be racing. We still got 3 races. We still got the 500. So we'll be locking in our picks right now. You made 3 picks. I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm locking in on Harrison Burton. Of my 3 picks, I'm gonna say that would be the one that's actually gonna do it. That's tough though. I do really want Josh Williams to be the dark horse though too. It sucks because there's so many dark horses.
Oh, I know. I just thought of somebody else that I was going with, and I totally gapped on too.
Man, I totally forgot about Jordan Anderson
and Jeb Burton.
Oh, and Jeb Burton
Yeah.
would be awesome. And AJ
Jeb-
Dinger.
Yeah,
Ah,
the colleague racing, like just
I
put
love
them
those
on the
guys, eh?
put them on the short list of who could win too. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, the quality cars have been fast in the summer race at Daytona.
yep.
And I really think like AJ's got to be the favorite, right, for the championship. Like,
Well, he's one of them for sure.
well, the amount of road courses that they're going to be going to now, I think like Xfinity. If I was going to say, if we're going to get a Cup Series event on a road course in the future, CTMP obviously would be like the preferred place. But I'm telling you, Xfinity coming up to CTMP would be fucking amazing.
That'd be a killer show.
That would be amazing. Because I would tell you, you know what? I would actually say that we'd probably get more Pinty's people that would probably be able to get into an Xfinity race. For whatever reason, I just feel like they'd get in there better than the truck field. So, it'll be very interesting. And yeah, Kenneth, I think all of us really would love a dark horse pick. We almost had 2 again in this race today. And I'm telling you guys, I'm still like excited from the race, but I'm so heartbroken for Anderson and especially Corey Roper, man. That guy brought back the CarQuest colors. He doesn't have a ton of money, doesn't have a lot of funding, and he's an old guy. Like I think he's in his 40s already.
Hey, no.
And those guys in their 40s, man, just grandpas out there. I totally forgot that you were 40 for a second.
I'm 39 and a half.
Oh, see,
I'm not 40 yet.
So that's what I'm talking about. You're almost.
I know. I'm crowding it.
And then we got the baby 26-year-old down there.
26, yeah. I'm 26 and a half. I'll be 27 later this summer.
There you go. A big 30 this year, so it's all downhill.
The dirty 30.
Downhill from now, but all right, boys. Well, we've hit about 11 o'clock. We've got 5 people tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, guys. That means, like, honestly, you guys have no idea. This is the coolest shit ever to have people actually tuning in and liking the content. We still have one mother effer who decided to give us a down, but that's just going to be my attitude with it because we don't want to get upset. We want to be
You're not going to please everybody.
No,
that's true.
If we're not talking about how great Haley Deegan is, we're probably not liked. I would expect, like, dude, one of the things that they got to cool that shit, man. Holy crap. I think in the first 2 stages, I counted 16 mentions of Haley Deegan in the first 2 stages. That was that's way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, maybe back it down a tiny bit. It's the first race of the season.
Jason Lyle, who was on Twitter, pointed out to me, and he was very right. They know she's going to make the money. And they're right. She got the best. I think Darian and Jet were they were showing the intros. Darian on Black Flags Matter on his Instagram was live streaming, and Haley easily had the biggest pop, for all of them.
Mhm.
So mind you, that could just be because she doesn't believe in the pandemic and she fits in with a lot of the folks down there in Florida. But what do we think, guys? In terms of our grading of this race, are we giving it an A, a B, C, or a D?
I'd probably give this race. I'd say
Well,
a B.
Go like A minus, B minus.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd give it a B plus. I mean, it wasn't like the race to end all races, but it was certainly better than average. It wasn't a wreck fest. It wasn't like it had little bits of everything. It had the big one for the people that like to see all the craziness and stuff going sideways. But I mean, it had some pretty compelling super speedway racing. That's a relative term. I mean, I'm not the biggest super speedway fan, but I thought it wasn't bad. So B plus for me.
I'll give it a solid B. Like you said, the first two stages were pretty calm, pretty tame, and then it started to get quite crazier near the end, and everyone was just really starting to go for him, being a little too aggressive with all the loose trucks and all that stuff like that. So I'd say I give it a solid B.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that same kind of approach. For me, the race was actually, there was a lot of compelling stuff in it. Obviously, the people that were in it, the trucks that were in there, a lot of good stories. For me, the finish was similar to about an A. That was great, an A finish. But all the wrecked trucks brings it down a little bit. The stupidity for the leaving the track as dirty as it was brings it down a little bit. But the first two stages I thought were great. So I think we're going to round this all up with another B. I think I definitely thought it was very good. Kenneth Terry, thank you. He gives it a B as well. Overall, I like the length of these races. I really don't. This is part of the problem, guys, with the 500 and with the Xfinity races now is like two stages. You're most of the time watching just a train, right? So I really hope tomorrow and Friday we don't see trains.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that shit. That shit sucks. And I really don't like, it really comes down to, you're not racing the whole race anymore. You're basically racing the last like 50 laps, trying not to wreck.
So, you're just killing time there for the first 3/4 of the race.
So it's like, really, it's not the Daytona 500. It isn't. It's like the Daytona.
It's the Daytona 50.
The Daytona 50.
Pretty much.
Essentially what it is. And it just turns into an excuse to wreck cars. So I am glad though that we are going to go to we are going to go to the road course next week. I really hope that we get to see some rain. And we also don't know if the 500 is actually going to be on Sunday right now. So,
the weather's been
a lot of people are saying it's not likely that it's actually going to run. So, and then of course in Canada, we do have a holiday on Monday. So, for Family Day. So, sorry, family. Kenneth,
our families both are like, we're all good with that. We're family. Both of our families are race families. So
you guys are lucky. Mine's they're very supportive, but they're not race family at all. I'm trying to convince my mom to start going to races, and maybe she'll like it. But
there's nothing like being on a racetrack. I'm telling you.
No, dude.
Yeah, it's a good way to recruit fans, is get them to actually feel the experience.
It's the same thing, man. When I went to WrestleMania, I'm like, this shit's way better than TV. When I went to the Blue Jays, way better than TV. So it's just when I went to see the Leafs, better on TV.
The same thing. I go to many Sens games and stuff like that. It's fun to go to those games.
Yeah.
But just going to a racetrack is just like, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
For sure.
I'd love to say that Leafs games and Jays games bring the excitement like a race track does. Not even close, man.
No.
So we are done for the day. Thank you, Kenneth Terry, for hanging in there with us. Anybody else that's still in the chat, we really appreciate you guys. If you could give us a like, share though. Share the share the content, because we really want to help. We want to continue to build this. We're not done. We got a lot of racing still to go this weekend. Tomorrow I will be going solo, I think, as far as I remember. It'll be the Xfinity Series and ARCA kind of roundup following the Xfinity Series race. I think, Maddie, you said you're out on the snowmobiles tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Graydon, you're not available, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, we're gonna go out and we're not snowmobiling, but we're gonna go hit some toboggan hills. And
Graydon is actually able to go out. I'm not, because I'm still in the complete lockdown. You guys actually are out of it now in Muskoka region. So,
same Java Valley too.
Nice.
You guys too. You guys are both out of it, so you guys.
Yeah, mine just got lifted yesterday.
Yeah.
Right on. I haven't really. I don't know. I'm outside all the time anyway, so.
You guys are also kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it's not as huge.
I mean, like, we're right in town here, so I mean, I'm in the urban center.
I'm out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Kenneth, dude, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you, anybody that came in. If you haven't already, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Follow us at Fanside RCW on Twitter, at CamK Racing on Twitter, at CamK Racing on Instagram. We also have a Fanside page on Facebook. Whew, got all that out. Graydon, how can we find you on social media?
The one and only social handle for me on Twitter at Smooth Operator with the 88s in it.
Of course, the 88s. Matthew Hall, how can we find you on social media?
At M_Hall 34 on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been an absolute blast live streaming. We get to do it all over again tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll chat then.